fortunate enough a few years ago, because of my friend Neil Powell, to meet this guy Jimi Tunnell here, who was in New York for a long time. He's here in Denton now, and I've been coming over here for the last few years with my riffs and coming up with tunes. And a lot of people were asking me about the song The Rain Falls that I was fixing to release as a single. And it's an old riff I had back from high school that went like this. I really never thought I'd do anything with it, but it was stuck in my head. I must have had the thing for 10 years when I was in my my Yngwie Malmsteen days, listening to all that stuff. So I brought it over here, and Jimmy came up with a really cool drum groove, and we kind of built a tune around it. And the beginning part is the real cool thing that a lot of people are asking about, so we're going to let you see how that came up today. And let Jimmy tell you how he did it.
Well, actually, yeah, you put that down first. We put down sort of bits of sections of the tune that you were hearing to go to the riff, and let's see, I guess the actual guitar, so the guitar thing being that. That's what you just heard, right? So what I ended up putting underneath that was a little more clubbish than just a regular, just a regular kit. Although there are elements of that in with it, but there are also some loops to make it a little bit more current. And so to that end, and sort of pulling it into that, that modern kind of thing, I just did a little intro, basically. It's an analog sound in intervals, and so I just played this. It kind of makes it rather funky initially, and then retains sort of the loop stuff underneath when guitar comes in.
Yeah, I think that original beat was like a hip hop beat, with the bump, bump, bump.
Yeah.
So I remember I liked that drum beat a lot, so it worked out.
Yeah, exactly. People are sort of used to the loop thing, and which I will use, but not necessarily for for drums themselves. So I'll like use a loop just for the kind of the, really crunchy sound of it more than anything, and then actually have a kit playing with it, which is indeed what that is. So.
I love Middle Eastern music, and I have a couple of friends, Zarish Gulan and another guy named Alok Duda, that play the tabla really well, and another guy named Nikhil Pandya. I love the tabla, just crazy about it. I don't know, something about the sound of it. And I also like Middle Eastern scales. And I'd come up with this riff. That's all it was, and I had it stuck in my head, and I came over here one day, and Jimmy's scoring a movie that he was working on, and I had some really cool drum stuff happening, and I asked him if I could have that riff because I wanted to take it home and try to put this against it. It kind of worked out really well for me because, once again, I just love those sounds, those world beat kind of sounds, and this one's kind of a Bollywood kind of thing that he came up with.
Yeah, it's basically, there are a couple of different, from India, there are a couple of different schools of thought, and what's making a lot of noise these days, or what you see in movies a lot, is the Bollywood thing. In this case, it's sort of a wide percentage of swing, and with on upbeats, this drum called a dhol or a dholak, and that's as in any kind of swing, really what makes it swing is that the stuff that comes right before one and the percentage of it. So I had done a bunch of this stuff, and I had really, I had some stuff that I wasn't using, and so I used this sequence. The whole lot hasn't come in yet, but this part is mostly tablas, but it's really all about the sort of percentage of swing you're using, and not swing in terms of our bebop ting ting ting. But they sort of taken a thing that they would do, a Punjabi thing that they would do anyway, and made it a little more techno, which you're hearing on tons of Bollywood stuff these days.
Yeah, totally. What's hilarious is I played that for one of my students. She's about probably 11, and she asked me if she could have a copy of it for her birthday party. And she went there; all her friends were dancing to it. So it does have a hypnotic. Is that so? That's what it is. Is where the
yeah.
percentage?
I mean, it's a. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff, and some of it even gets. I mean, this is pretty. This is pretty metric. Some of it gets even wider than that, where you get a which the glaglat thing would be the hollock drums that they're just beating the living hell out of to get that sound. I mean, they all, they almost all sound like rim shots on a, on a very highly tuned tom. It's a cool sound, and as a matter of fact, they're almost sort of flamming, you know what I mean? So it's not, it sort of, it splays it a little bit and makes it a lot warmer than, your basic machine kind of groove. So.